Hey everyone, this is Stacy Rogers, candidate for governor of Kansas, and I wanted to talk to you today about an issue that I get asked about a lot, and that has to do with our education. And one of the things that recently here in Sedgwick County, in Wichita to be exact, was there was a bond issue, and the bond issue was voted down, and I was in support of saying no to that bond. And let me explain why, because a lot of people kind of came at me and they were like, you don't love our teachers and you don't love our students, and that could be nothing further from the truth. So what is happening right now in our state is we spend more than 60% of our entire state budget is going to education. If our students were being successful students, meaning that they were coming out of the education system with a grade level reading, grade level math, being productive citizens of our state, I would have no complaint whatsoever. Unfortunately, that is not what is occurring. And we are seeing record dropout rates. We are seeing children who cannot read when they test at like a fourth grade level and eighth grade, and they're very low in testing scores at fourth grade. They're very low in reading and in math in eighth grade. And so across the state, in fact, there's only a couple of school districts that have a B rating across the board. The rest are C or lower, and the majority are D's and F's. And that is information that is available through the Kansas Policy Institute if you're wanting to look up those exact numbers and school districts that are included in that count. So throwing good money after bad is never a good idea. And so when we're looking at what we need to do, we need to be looking at how we can fix the education system, how we can get more money into the hands of the teachers and the students towards the actual education. Unfortunately, 40% of that state budget goes to administrative costs, and that's just not serving our kids. So one of the things that I've talked about when I go out to speak is that I will be creating a true Kansas Doge. There is something that's occurring right now that while I applaud their efforts, I think is not going to have the same effects as when we have a Republican governor in the office. And the reason for that is so much information is blocked at this point. We don't have access to the full information because the department heads are under our current governor, Laura Kelly. And so if you don't have access to all the information, if it's not laid bare for you to view everything, you will not be able to make the proper decisions that will actually affect the state, so in a positive manner. So my concern is that we may make some changes on the fringes of the information that we're given, but not having the full information, we could actually cause more harm to the state and possibly cost more taxpayers more money and definitely more time to sort it all out when we actually do have access to that full information. So I will be doing by executive order a Doge style. I don't necessarily like that term, but Doge style of cleaning out and auditing and looking at each department, each area in our state and our state budget, and education will be at the top of the list. Our children are our future, and if we do not protect them, if we do not foster them, if we do not make sure that they are actually receiving the education that they need to be successful citizens of our state, we are doing a disservice to ourselves and to them. So that is going to be a huge part of the beginning of my administration as governor, is to really get that going as far as let's deep dive into these areas and make sure that we really are being good stewards of the Kansas taxpayers' money. It's not my money. It's not the legislators' money. It is the taxpayers of this state. It is your money. Now, obviously, I'm a taxpayer as well, so it is partially my money, but you are electing someone to manage that money for you, to be a good steward of your money. And so I promise that I will be a good steward of your tax dollars, the money that you are entrusting to me and with me to make the right decisions for you. and we will start with that education. So hopefully that clears up a little bit. Once we, there's no reason, $18,000 a student in USD 259, there is no reason that we should have a leaking building or leaking roofs or a non-working heating and air system. It's crazy that those things are occurring. And I would love to see their budget of how the money that they receive is allocated. By the way, helping, a lot of people talk to me about, property taxes and reducing taxes. Well, by being able to dig into each and every department and every area of the state, we will be able to free up some of that money. And education is a big part of what affects your property taxes. And so we will definitely be looking at those things and helping to find ways to put money back on in your family's budget and so that you can put food on your table for your family, and also know that your children are getting the best education they possibly can. And by the way, some people try to say, well, you must be thinking you're going to cut special education. I have 2 kids that have learning challenges. The very last thing that I would ever do is cut special education spending. We need to definitely maybe do some overhauling in that department and make sure that it is being utilized to give those children the best opportunities possible and available to them. I don't know that that is something that is happening either. But again, those are things that we can look at and really dig into as a state with your input, not me, but with you guys inputting to me and telling me what is important to you for your children and for your taxpayer dollar. I hope that clears a little bit up. And you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all soon.